April 16th, when Universal Studios Hollywood finally reopens, we will be receiving the all-new Secret Life of Pets off the leash. This family dark ride attraction will have you joining Max, Duke, Gidget, and Snowball on a journey through the streets of New York City as you get ready to be welcomed into your new home. Illumination seems to be making a bigger and bigger presence inside the Universal theme parks. We saw Despicable Me get a ride, and I guess Super Nintendo World will soon be Illuminations. That happened. But now we're receiving a Secret Life of Pets ride, and all things considered, if it's successful it could get the clone treatment. If that's the case, where in Universal Orlando could it go, and when would it be built? In today's speculation video, we're going to discuss the possibilities and rumors of a slop attraction coming to Florida. So just where could such an attraction go? Between 3 parks, if you choose to count the new Epic Universe on the way, I think that one's out for the count. I just don't see it being built there, since it won't fit in any of the themed areas that they have planned. Over in Islands of Adventure, the best bet could be to replace the old Toon Lagoon Theater, which has been vacant for many years, with not much going on. It's really no secret at all that Universal has been looking into a potential revitalization of this area of the park as a whole. With wall-to-wall characters most kids won't resonate with, it's not a bad idea to add a new ride for a property a bit more modern that can appeal to this generation. And Secret Life of Pets has already entered the gift shops here, so it's not too much of a stretch to think that there might be a ride here in the near future. However, I just don't know how well a Secret Life of Pets attraction would fit into this area of the park. Despite being a cartoon, it doesn't share the same kind of cartoony design of the rest of Toon Lagoon. I mean, 2 amazing soakers being based off of Dudley Do-Right and Popeye, and then pets. While it's not a bad place for the attraction to go, being kind of separated from the rest of Toon Lagoon, it may not be a suitable fit. Instead, let's head on over next door to Universal Studios Florida. This is a much better candidate for receiving the ride in the near future. We've already seen Secret Life of Pets utilized in the Superstar Parade, as the park does already see potential in this franchise. As for where the ride could go, that's where things get difficult. I've narrowed it down to 3 potential locations. The current location of Shrek 4D, the New York area of the park, or Kid Zone. Let's start with Shrek. This could be a very valid candidate for the Pets attraction for various reasons. 1, it could signify this area of the park as an Illuminations mini-land since it would be right across from Despicable Me. Now as for Shrek, it's no surprise it could be on its way out. With the weird hydraulic seats and the outdated special effects, it's not exactly something people come to Universal for anymore. It also opened to the public in 2003, which puts it at 18 years in operation. That's normally the death sentence for most Universal attractions. I also don't see another 3D show replacing it since that whole concept isn't exactly a groundbreaking idea anymore. Therefore, I do think it's very possible that Pets could go here with all things considered. Let's move on to the New York section as a possible location for this attraction now. This could honestly make the most sense considering the facade to the front of the structure is themed to New York City, but where the ride could go could be a bit more tricky to figure out. Now if we look at the size of the footprint of Secret Life of Pets in Hollywood, it's not a huge space. It's kind of small, because as we know it replaced the Globe Theater and had to use that space. Due to its incredibly small size, it wouldn't require much space over in Florida as well, if they went with the same layout and design of the attraction. Therefore, I have a few ideas in mind of where it could go. First, right next door to Jimmy Fallon. Notice how I said next door to Jimmy Fallon. I don't see it replacing this ride considering it's still fairly new, and don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Instead, I believe it's possible to be built right next door in the empty plot of land on the other side of Rip Red Rocket's Helix. I don't know if this is really an ideal place to add this attraction since this area is typically used for queue space for the haunted houses at horror nights. Therefore, I don't believe it would go here despite there being plenty of room. It's possible that we could see it be worked into the New York setting across from Mummy. Maybe? This obviously is a bit of a stretch, and due to the very small footprint of the attraction, they would need to perhaps conjoin the 2 or 3 separate buildings to one. But then again, the attraction really doesn't take up much room to begin with. This would also mean they'd lose several retail and dining shops, which in return may not be a wise investment. I mean, they'd lose not only Starbucks, where I'd imagine the entrance to the ride going, since it's on the corner of the street, but they'd also lose my personal favorite store at the resort, the Film Vault. I can totally see that becoming the pet store though from over in Hollywood if the ride ever does come to this location. But given all our options, I don't believe it'll come to the New York section of the park, regardless of fitting in well with the theming. Let's move on to our third choice of location now, which is Kid Zone. This may just be the most likely option. It's no secret that this area is on its way out, and could potentially go to Pokemon. I guess we'll have to wait and see how well Super Nintendo World does over in Epic Universe when it opens. But for now, let's assume Creative has their eyes set on a Secret Life of Pets ride here. My best bet for where it could go would be replacing A Day in the Park with Barney. This show just closed permanently recently, and that left many of us wondering, how much longer until Kid Zone gets to the axe? A Pets ride could honestly make this side of the park draw people in again, and could open the gateway for new attractions. I think you could even one-up the version from Hollywood with making great use of space, by making a well-themed dog park for a mini Secret Life of Pets land. No, I don't mean for actual dogs. Just a fun little play area. Which would mean that then you would probably want to close Fievel's Playland right across the way, since you would have two playlands kind of in the same region of each other. So just when might we expect this ride to be replicated in Florida, if at all? It'll have to do with a few factors. Let's look at Universal's future plans to start with. They tend to open one new major attraction every year. This year will be Velocicoaster, but then there looks to be no other rides or attractions planned until the new Epic Universe Park opens in 2025. Here's what I think. I believe once Velocicoaster opens, we will be receiving the Jurassic World treatment to River Adventure for a 2022 reopening. I think it only makes sense and can fill that void of no new attraction next year. It's also a possibility it won't happen until 2023, so keep that in mind. But it's bound to happen at some point. Once that's out of the way, I think it's very likely Pets will come in the next year or two. That should fill the gap of what the park decides to do until Epic Universe opens, and should fall opening only 3 or 4 years after it does in Hollywood. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's possible for a Secret Life of Pets ride to come to Florida, along with where you think it'll go and when it'll be built? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of ParkTwister. If you're new here, we talk about theme parks on the channel all the time, so be sure to subscribe and go and hit that like button. It really does help us out. If you would like to support us even farther, you can find us at ParkTwister.com or by going and following us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also become an official Twister by supporting us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Any contribution helps out to the channel. Or you can get exclusive ParkTwister merchandise. All the links are in the description below. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, I'll catch you next time.